So I signed up for the Disney Plus free trial, and I was able to watch The Mandalorian when the service launched on Wednesday. So it was a little bit spotty, I have to admit. I know that in the news, the service had a lot of complaints about, it crashing or the picture itself kept buffering. That was what was happening to me when I first started to watch it. But that's kind of with every streaming service that launches, I think, because when DirecTV came out with their service a couple years back, I had that same issue originally when, for the first, I would say probably 2-3 months, it was really bad. I know it's gotten a lot better now, but it was kind of unwatchable for a while for me, and I kind of just switched to another service provider. But I wouldn't say that I'm the hugest Star Wars fan, but I do like Star Wars. I think I've seen pretty much every Star Wars. No, I've seen every Star Wars movie. Even the newer ones, The Force Awakens. I actually did like that one. I rewatched it again on Disney Plus yesterday, and it's still fun. Like it's not the best Star Wars movie, but I don't think it's the worst. It's still a fun movie to me. The Last Jedi, didn't particularly care for that one. I know that it was a little bit different, than all the other Star Wars movies, but there were just a lot of things in that movie that I didn't quite care for. But I didn't know what to expect from The Mandalorian. When I first saw the trailers for it, it looked kind of cool. It looks like, like a Western, like Boba Fett, bounty hunter, meets space Western type thing. And I decided to check out the first episode Wednesday, and I have to admit, I actually really did like it. Disney is really going all in on this show. This show is kind of like the headline for their Disney Plus service. And apparently the budget for this show is $120 million, which is kind of ridiculous for a television show. According to IMDb, there are 8 episodes. The first episode dropped when the service launched on Wednesday. There's going to be another one coming out, I believe, Friday. And then it's going to repeat on a weekly basis. So there are a couple things that I did like about the first episode, and some things that I could have done without. What I do like is I like the look and feel and atmosphere of the show. It's shot very much like a traditional Star Wars universe. Like you feel like you're in that universe when you go into the show. And you could tell like the people behind it took a lot of time and were very detail oriented when it came to putting together the show. There are a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of things that, if you're a huge Star Wars fan, you'll notice. Even if you're a casual Star Wars fan, you'll still kind of put the dots together. I think the special effects are kind of on and off for me. Some of them are really good, and some of them are actually pretty bad for a show that has a budget of 120 mil. So some of them was really rough. Some of them was pretty bad. Special effects. The spaceship, when it comes to Star Wars, a lot of it is going to be obviously in space, and you're going to have your spaceships. And I actually do like the Mandalorian's craft. I think it's very cool, very cool looking, very interesting. The one thing about the show I didn't like, well, at least the first episode, was the comic relief that they put in there. So, the Mandalorian is supposed to be like this badass bounty hunter. And then his first bounty is this guy that's, I'm not sure what race he is. Maybe his race has been in Star Wars before. I'm not familiar with that. But the comic relief there is quite annoying. He's actually more of an annoying character than funny, in my opinion. And that didn't really work for me. It kind of took the seriousness out of the episode in the beginning. I think the ending made up for it. I really liked the droid that they introduced in the first episode. I cannot remember the name of that droid for life of me though, but it was very interesting, like how it operated. Obviously, if you watch Star Wars, you know that there's multiple types of droids in this universe, and I know that Taika Waititi, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He voiced the droid. It's called IG-11 is the name of the droid. So, and apparently, well, based on the IMDb, is actually only one episode. so yeah, that spoiler. But IMDb is not always the most accurate, so let's just leave it there. You have the Mandalorian played by Pedro Pascal. And I think he does a really good job. Like, you see the kind of like the swagger, the calm, collective, cool, very resourceful, very calculating. When it comes to his body, is physicality, I would say. But sometimes, like I don't know if his voice matches it though. Because when he speaks, it kind of throws me off. It kind of seems like just like a regular guy in a costume. Like a regular guy in like a Halloween costume. Trying to talk to his friends and stuff. So the couple of times that he spoke during this episode kind of threw me off, especially at the end. It was just kind of interesting, but he was, he's still a good actor. He's a great actor. So we'll see, we'll see in future episodes if they make him more like a personable character. Because that's the way he came off as, just like some guy you would go out and hang out with, get some drinks with towards the end. Just the way that he sounded. There are a couple other people in this show. Carl Weathers was actually in the first episode. And it was good to see him. I haven't seen him in anything in a long time. He's not in there long, but he does a good job with what he's given. I know that this is kind of a spoiler, but it's all over the internet now. But towards the end, the battle scene, the bounty or whoever they're claiming is supposed to be from the race that Yoda is a part of. And apparently it's 50 years old. But the different races in Star Wars age differently, so it's a 50-year-old baby. But I think in Star Wars, Yoda was like 900 something years old anyway, so it kind of makes sense. I would say that for a first episode, it was pretty good. It's really strong. I think except for the couple of misfires here and there with comedy relief and a couple of bad shots with the CGI. I think it did its job. It kind of hooked me. I am looking forward to seeing the next episode on Friday and to see how the story progresses. So really that's just my, thoughts on it as of right now. I didn't want to get really in depth into analyzing every single, shot. But I think if you're a Star Wars fan that liked the older Star Wars, like A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, I think you'll like this one. Even if you liked The Force Awakens, I think you'll like this one as well. It's still in the same universe. This is kind of reminds me of an offshoot, kind of like a Rogue One, which I actually liked Rogue One. I thought it was a really good movie. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. And this has the makings to be a really good TV show. So, we'll see how they progress with this. I mean, I am very interested. I am very interested to see how they progress the story. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on The Mandalorian, the first episode. Thanks again for listening.